Welcome to Naturally Happy, the radio show and podcast. I'm Dr. Vidya Reddy. Are you ready to ignite your life? Because it's time to foster your happiness, your relationships, and your health. If you want to live with more passion, experience more freedom, and of course have so much fun, you're in the right place. So close your eyes, open your ears and your heart, and join me on your journey to living happy naturally. Hello and welcome back to Naturally Happy. My name is Dr. Vidya Reddy. I'm so grateful you are here. I'm all about creating a community of purposeful, happy people. People who want to find their happiness and serve others through it. And if you believe in what I'm doing, please subscribe, rate, and review the show. It would mean so much to me. In this episode, please come on a journey in search of your truer self. Not your true self, but your truer self. Let's begin by touching the vulnerable, tender part of you that in turn always touches others so deeply. It's my aim to touch that part that shimmers, that part so fragile and so powerful, so profoundly powerful, somewhere deep inside of you. That part of you that is touched and that touches others in many ways is the you who always love. It's the you I call the truer self. Not the true self, but the truer self. As you listen to this episode, I'll work with you that you might touch so that you can be touched by that part, by that truer self as well. Your journey with its few and many paths has always taken many twists and turns. You have known struggle and suffering. You have known fear and pain. More fear and pain than ever was meant to be. You have known failure and sorrow and the silence of shame and despair. And all through it, you love. You continue to seek and search for love. You've also known the power and wonder of celebration and triumph, and you still love even more. You don't settle or become complacent. You continue to seek and search for love, for more love. You are amazing. You are astounding. No matter how bad it gets, no matter how good it becomes, you always seek and search for love. No matter how obscured, encumbered, or entangled your quest becomes, it never ends. No matter how lost you appear to be, you keep searching to be found. It is your nature. It is your grace. Seeking more love comes to you as the flight to an eagle. It is your dignity and your presence. Amid this never-ending search for love, there's another search, and I would suggest that while more love is your goal, you're also seeking your truer self. And as you seek both, more love and your truer self, there are many wonders that are waiting for you. So many wonders waiting for you. Let's take a look at a few of these wonders. Number 1, you can create and manifest so much more of what you want, and you can fulfill so much more of your dreams and visions, and you can touch and be touched by more of your magic, by more of your passion, and by more of your creativity. The peace, the self-acceptance, the more healing, and the more loving can be yours. Number 2, a new sense of compassion and dominion can be yours. You can metaphorically walk with the elements, creating positive futures in the world that can become friendlier and more encouraging. You can give without guilt, beyond guilt, and you can love without fear, beyond fear. Let's take a look at number 3, greater freedom to be and to become, the freedom to supersede and to suppress, with its possibilities and its capacities, can be within your grasp. Number 4, as you search for more love and seek your truer self, you can challenge the limits of your beliefs and your imagination and the constraints of your trust and love. You can be wise, you can know, and in many ways you can become your truer self and the beneficiary of the more love you always seek. You are ready. You are ready. Let me repeat that again. You are ready. That you are listening to this episode, these words suggest that you are indeed ready. I would suggest your higher self, the universe, is ready to link and connect you to your truer self, and that your truer self is ready to be found. The world is waiting. As I often say, nothing changes until you do. Let me say that again. Nothing changes until you do. The world is evolving. Your conscious and active participation is an integral part of the evolution. The positive futures rather than the nightmares and the mediocrities are coming. It is your conscious creation that is the key. Your spiritual growth calls you to the challenge. You're at a crossroads. Your future is waiting with so much abundance and bounty, happiness and success. In so many ways, I would suggest seeking your truer self is the next step in your quest for love. With new ways of changing and new ways of growing, so it seems that there must be new ways of loving. The great work and the great adventure are your work and your adventure. In this sense, these are yours to unfold with more of your magic and with the help and miracles of your truer self. Together with your truer self, the great work leading to the great adventure can become your grand adventure. You are heard. You are heard. Let me repeat that again. You are heard. I hate to admit it, but I hear way too often that this is too much. I am not enough. I can't do all that. I can't do it all alone. And I'm here to tell you that you are not alone, that there is help. I would suggest that I and many others are here to help you. Your higher self and your soul are always with you to help you and to assure you with their love and caring that they are ready to help you. Come face to face with your truer self. Your spirit, so filled with the breath of life and the inspiration, aspiration to live more fully and rich, is aligned with your higher self and soul. As I said, your truer self is waiting to be discovered. And of course, the God, Goddess, and the universe is always there for you and is always ready to love you. You are not alone. You are more loved than you can ever know. I'd like to take a few moments to talk about the nature of your truer self. Remember, not your true self, but your truer self. Let's talk about the dreamer and the visionary. I would suggest that the truer self is in you always reaching for the future, reaching for the possible, reaching for the luminous, that which is filled with life, and the numinous, that which is filled with the divine. This august part of you is always searching for the unknown and the unfathomable. Gosh, I'm so in love with these amazing words. Luminous, numinous, unknown, unfathomable. Your truer self uses the raw materials and tools of creation with a focus on the future. So in this sense, your truer self accesses the beliefs and attitudes, the thoughts and feelings, and the decisions and the choices with an emphasis on creating a better future, rather than continually attempting to fix or perfect the past. The truer self forgives the errant of the past and works with receiving the powerful of the future. Your truer self activates and uses the generating and sustaining energies of conscious reality creation, with an eye that's on more about what you create, more than what they've already created. In this sense, the self works with trust, gratitude, happiness, and value. These are the generating energies of reality creation. To build bridges to what lies at and beyond their horizons. They are visionaries. They look forward more than backwards. They work with the sustaining energies of discipline, responsibility, intimacy, and love to empower the present and the future rather than to justify the past. That is to say, this powerful and beautiful truer self within you asks, "Where am I going?" more often than they ask, "Where have I been?" That self asks, "Where will this lead me?" more than "What will this get me?" Find these ingredients within you, and you begin to see the hints and clues that your higher self is ready to find you. Let me move on from the dreamer and visionary, and now let's talk about the consciousness and the conscious with dignity. I believe every one of us has a sense of our own consciousness. I call that awareness the self-I, as opposed to the ego I. Each person has a conscious. That little voice in your head that is often mistakenly called your higher self by some, I would suggest that little voice is actually your conscious, and a lot of the time it is born out of guilt, and much too often it's born out of duty and obligation. Let me ask you, why do you get up and get about your work for the day? Is it with a conscious of guilt or fear? That little voice that offers threats and warnings about the dire consequences of not getting up and getting on with your day. With a conscious of duty and obligations, that little annoying voice speaks of endless lists of things to do. Not to fret, and yet there is a different voice. I would suggest that there is consciousness, and a conscious born and based on dignity, based on your dignity. The base of your personal dignity is found within your sense of valuing yourself for who you've become, for who you're about to be. It's found within the strength of your character and integrity, in the presence of your soul and spirit. It is formed in your sense of freedom. That little voice, which based on dignity encourages you to get up and get on with your day, because you are a valuable person with much to explore and offer this lovely day. It entreats you with the remembrance and an embrace of soul and spirit, and of the wonder of freedom. And you respond to that little voice with doing the right thing just because it's the right thing. And in this sense, you respond with character and with integrity. Your truer self is conscious of its dignity. Its conscious is born of and based upon dignity. Find your dignity, and you're in pursuit of that not so elusive truer self. Now let's talk about integrity. Admittedly so. Integrity is a pretty hard concept to fully understand. I would suggest that many within the consensus reality have used the word and concept of integrity for less than admirable purposes. Many have used the idea of integrity to manipulate others. Despite the twists and distortions that have come with the concept of integrity, I suggest it can be helpful to understand it as involving these 4 ideas. Number 1, being spontaneously responsible for the impact that you have. Number 2, thinking and feeling the full range of your emotions with intensity and humility. Number 3, becoming wise. And number 4, having both personal and spiritual character. People with integrity hold the space within themselves to hold every aspect of who they are. They hold the space for the beautiful within them. They also hold the space for the ugly within them as well. In this sense, a person who is unaware of the shadowy side lacks integrity. That's a person who says things like, I don't have a negative bone in my body. Lacks integrity because they don't have the space within them for their ugly side. In the reverse, a person who says there is nothing good about me, nothing at all, also lacks integrity because they don't hold the space for the beautiful that's in them. The person with integrity says such things as, I know I can be negative, very negative, also know that I have many wonderful strengths and powers. I have the potential for either the positive or the negative. I know this about me, and I choose, yes, I choose the space from which I come. I choose the positive. I choose my power and strength. Your truer self has integrity. You will discover more of your truer self as you explore your own integrity. Now that we've talked about integrity, let's move on to making and working miracles. Your truer self doesn't deserve more miracles than others do. It's not rewarded with more miracles. I would suggest your truer self is capable of making and receiving miracles, and miracles are available to everyone. When I've talked of miracle makers, I have suggested they have certain characteristics of personality, that they have a unique nature. They are confident and conscious of their spirituality. The miracle maker uses success and failure and personal and spiritual crises to become strong and to transform. I would suggest that they don't use these to justify weakness or to explain their specialness. The miracle maker has the courage to craft their life filled with freedom, individuality, joy, and authority. That's to say, they look to utilize their strength and power, their magic, to make a life more than they look to these to make a living. In life, they look to supersede and surpass what has been, in search for what will be. They pursue the unfathomable with the expectation and the anticipation. They pursue the unknown with hope. As you seek these, you move closer and closer to your truer self. Let's move on from miracle makers to seeking and searching with spirited passion. Spirited passion includes these beautiful things: truth, goodness, and beauty, creativity and productivity, awareness and understanding, meaning and significance, value and the valuable, wonder and joy, and spirituality. As you ponder these delicious words and the concepts contained within them, as you seek the experience of each, in the mystery and the secrets that unfold, you can reveal more of your truer self. Let's talk about gracious generosity. This is the kind of giving that has little or nothing to do with giving, to give in or to give up. It has little or nothing to do with giving away or giving in exchange. Gracious giving is both giving and receiving beyond guilt. It is loving beyond fear. I would suggest that gracious giving, the giving that is a natural part of you and exalted in you, is giving of your being more than of your doing. What I mean by this is often you give of what you do and of what you have. For example, you give money, your time, your space, like your spare room or garage, and you give your skill. Such giving can be, and so often is, beautiful and touching. It can be an inspiration. Giving of what you have and do can be profoundly powerful, and it is necessary. I would add that there is also giving of what you are. There is giving of what you be. In this sense, you are not money, time, your spare room, or your garage. You are not your skill. You have these, but you are not these. What are you? You are consciousness of love. You are caring and creative. You are a spiritual being. Gracious giving is giving of your love and caring. It is giving your talent and creativity. It is giving your spirit, your soul and spirit. These are the stuffs of your beingness more than your doingness. Let me read that again. These are the stuffs of your beingness more than your doingness. Your truer self knows the difference. As you come to the sense that difference, you come to sense your truer self. Let's talk about transcendence, one of my favorite words. Certainly, there are transcendent states within our reality. There are those moments marked with beauty and with ecstasy. There are those moments, those timeless and spaceless moments that can be eternal, that are sacred in the hollows of beauty, love, solitude, and enchantment. Your higher self knows such moments, and I would suggest they also have a resonance or a radiance of being transcendent. You might be wondering, what the heck does that mean? Perhaps the most elegant way to describe being transcendent is to say that such a person has a radiance about them that seems to say that they enjoy life and enjoy living it rich with love and caring. That radiance seems to say that such a person is intrigued by and seeks complexity and challenge in their life. And they seek it with wisdom and with spirituality. A transcendent person, I would suggest, is one who invests in themselves and in their future. Now the search begins for your truer self. Work with the component. Work with where these qualities are present and where they seem to be lacking. Work with where they seem to be missing. As you acknowledge and augment the presence of these, your truer self can emerge more fully. As you bring more loving and more healing to what seems to lag or to be lacking, you can love and heal your truer self into participating more fully in your life. Here are ways to work with finding your truer self. Work with dreaming and visioning, consciousness and consciousness of dignity, integrity, making and working miracles, seeking and searching with spirited passion, gracious generosity, and transcendence. I just spoke briefly about each of these. Now, work with love. Remember, whereas it used to be that your growth was based on discipline, admonishment, fixing, and curing, your growth is now more about loving and more healing. It's about changing more than it is about fixing. It's about healing more than it is about curing. Work with love. You always do. As I said when I began, please listen to these words carefully. You are amazing. You are astounding. No matter how hard, no matter how bad it gets, no matter how good it becomes, you always seek and search for love. No matter how obscured, encumbered, or entangled your quest becomes, it never ends. No matter how lost you appear to be, you keep searching to be found. Yes, work with love, always more love. I close with love. I feel and hold for you. Thank you for joining me on the Naturally Happy podcast. If you're finding these episodes helpful, I would love for you to share your experience with others. The easiest way for new people to listen to the podcast is just refer them to www.naturally-happy.com/podcast. With great love and respect, I hope this episode is real and authentic and valuable. I've touched on a lot of points and I'd love to keep this conversation going. If you're finding these episodes helpful and this episode's been true to you, if it's inspired you, if it's given you great information, please help me. Help me get these messages out there. This podcast is listened to by many people every week, but I can do a lot better. But I can't do it alone. It's just me and a very, very small team. So I need your help. And I'm asking you for your help. If that feels right to you, I'd love and appreciate it if you could share this episode with 3 friends in the next 60 minutes. Just do this, please. Together, the world shifts from misery and turmoil to love and happiness. The world shifts from busyness to productivity. You can either change the world or you can make excuses, but you cannot do both. So please share this episode with 3 people over the next 60 minutes so we can get the messaging out there. So we plant the seeds so we help more people. We help more people have more freedom and more happiness. And that's not the fake happiness, but the real happiness that lies in the seed of their hearts. In peace, love, and gratitude. Till next time.